not just
survive. So wake up, my friend.
Wake up, my friend.
Wake up, my friend. Wake up, my friend. It's time to thrive. You can do it.
Wake up, my friend. Wake up, my friend. Wake up, my friend. It's time to thrive.
So today I'm just excited. I got my girls with me. Elder Jory is on the line. Elder Tiffany is supposed to be on, Elder Jory, so alert her that it's time. She's coming out of class. But today, ladies, I'm cut, so I'm gonna start all over. Well, hello, everybody. Want to introduce you, and certainly it's an honor for you to be here with me today because this is a special day. So welcome Judge Rachel Johnson, and she is a judge presently. I can't believe you're a judge. This is my little baby in New Orleans, Louisiana. And we appreciate you handling everyday affairs. What's your official court?
Judge, Civil District Court here in Orleans Parish.
Civil District Court, that's right, and all the civil affairs. And she kind of keep the people sane. And then, of course, I'm excited to have Teresa Harrison, who is a member of Changing the Generation. And Rachel's a member, been a member forever, mother Supreme Justice. She's about to retire, Johnson. And now she's with Bishop Love, so she's still family. She and I got married. And so we love that. And then, of course, Dr. Harrison, who is a name brand in any church house from her past work, which was awesome, Gospel Today magazine, and now still an entrepreneur and has her own show. Tell us just a minute, everybody, about your show and the network.
Well, thank you for having me, first of all, and I honor you as a leading lady in the body of Christ as well as in the kingdom. I am hosting currently the gospel, well, the Higher Impact Show. Everything's gospel, heritage gospel, gospel, crazy.
We just love the gospel.
It's Higher Impact. It airs weekly on the Impact Network, Saturday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Yes, and you're going to be a guest this weekend.
I'm going to be a guest. Yay! I'm so excited about that. Yes, I enjoy our talks together. Well, I'm excited today, and of course we have a couple others that will join us, but I just wouldn't let this day pass. And you guys are busy, and I worked around your schedules because you kind of solidify what happened 100 years ago. So briefly, let me just say, on August the 26th, today marks the 100th anniversary of the passage of the 19th Amendment, guaranteeing and protecting women's constitutional right to vote. Because of that, more than 68 million women, wow, vote in elections because of those courageous ones who went before, never gave up the fight for equality, especially African American women. Now, even though Black African American women fought alongside Susan B. Anthony and others, we African American women were not allowed to attend conventions, and we were told to march in the back. Black women were not given the right to vote until the passage of the 1965 Voting Rights Act, which outlawed discriminatory voting practices. So today, more than anything, our vote matters. We matter. And I've invited women of color, brown and Black. So my brown or my yellow, she's coming on. And one was on vacation. And then, of course, I had different ages because, again, it is so important that on every level and that at every age, that we as women embrace what has happened, what our forefathers have have gone through, for those whose shoulders we stand on, that we embrace the freedom that was given to us. So today, I'm going to start with Dr. Harrison, age of beauty before age and beauty before and age before beauty. I'm trying to fix it up. We good though, honey. We're not worried about Judge Rachel.
Y'all are beautiful.
Thank
So
you.
it's age and beauty.
So not to keep you too long, but the first question I want to ask is, what does this day mean to you? What does this day mean to you? 100 years.
Yeah, I think it means that I have a responsibility. It means that somebody suffered greatly for me to have what I have and to be where I am. And I think it also means that my perspective has to be bigger than just what I see in front of me. And
Yes.
it has to be generational, it has to be global, it has to be for every woman out there that I'm connected to, as well as the men. I think we have a responsibility to model character, integrity, as well as to champion those things that really move our society forward, as well as support each other as we and push each other forward. A lot of times because of what we've been through as women, and even as Black women, we have a tendency to have low self-esteem. We have a tendency to kind of be the crab syndrome, where I have to push you down for me to be up.
Exactly.
And I think we've got to be the ones now to tell a different story, to sing a different song, and to tell our sisters and our daughters that, listen, you can make it, and I don't care where you are, what you've been through. We all have stories, we all have scars, but now we all have to move forward, and we have to grab hold of each other's hand to do that.
Yes, that togetherness and that unity. So, Judge Johnson, how does this day, what does it mean to you? What does it mean to you?
When I think about it, I know we want to commemorate the 100 years, and we think about it as something that was accomplished 100 years ago. But for me, it reminds us of the journey that we started on, because as you said, Pastor D, and I want to start by always saying I so appreciate your leadership and your mentorship to me. And even having this call and us having this discussion. But it began a journey for us because, as you said, although as Black women, we've been supportive since birth, since we came to this earth, right? We've always supported movements and struggles and been backbones. We were right there supporting that movement. And so 100 years ago, women got the vote and they got the
Yes.
right to cast that vote, but we didn't. So the people that look like us didn't, right? And so that was the beginning of the journey for us. The fight started with those women and Susan B. Anthony and what she did, but then we had to take it further. And remember, we celebrated this year 55 years of being able to vote. So for me, it reminds me that journeys sometimes are long. We start in certain places, and maybe you don't achieve exactly what you want to get initially, but it's a part of the journey. And so that journey got us to the Voting Rights Act so that we could cast our vote. And as Dr. Harrison said, it's responsibility. We can't let those 100 years go by, or the last 55 years just go by the wayside, and we lay that responsibility aside. People work too hard to get us to where we are. So I just think about it in terms of a journey.
And it is a journey, and the reflection is healthy. We must look back in order to move forward. And both of your comments, that responsibility that we've incurred, I feel it is ours to carry. And so to hear two generations say that, because I know Dr. Harrison and we always talk about that other generation, and I feel responsible. That's why I'm on the line today with all the different Zoom calls. Say, I got to make this happen, because I feel responsible that we say something to the people out there who would listen about this journey, as you said. And I'm so happy you did bring out the 55 year. We fought with everyone, but we always were lagging behind, not because we wanted to, we were forced to, and it's so unfortunate. So I have Black and brown people on the line today, and I call this one yellow, but whatever. But she is a great woman, and I'm teasing. I was saying today that Black women and women of all colors, shades, nationality, I embrace every woman. I love women, and not no crazy way. I love them because of who God made us. Don't smile, Alina. And so today, this is Councilwoman at Large, Alina Moreno, and she has joined us. She's been really pushing it to be on today. I appreciate you. Welcome. Welcome.
Hey, well, thank you, my friend. It's good to see you always, and always great to catch up with you. Appreciate the call today, inviting me to be with you, and great to see you, Judge, my friend, and Dr. Harrison. Good to see you as well. And it's a great anniversary, and I actually saw this really great video that I don't know if you all have seen yet or not, but Judge Terry Love posted it. And it's about, the anniversary of the 19th Amendment. And it has an interview with, I'll call her a young lady, okay? A young lady who's 102 years old.
Oh, wow.
And talks about the meaning of the 19th Amendment. And then, of course, in 1965 as well. And, being alive, really, for all of it. And so anyway, if you haven't seen it, I really encourage you all to watch the video because it's incredibly meaningful and moving. But, I think we all know that we all stand on the shoulders of the women from 100 years ago who pushed this, because all of us are in the positions where we are today because of them. But we have to continue to keep pushing. You take a look at the election that happened here in New Orleans.
No, we're not going to go that. We're going to come back to that.
No. Well, I'm just talking about voter turnout on the election on Saturday was 12%. 12%. That's it. So that means that, 12%. So yeah, while we've got the right to vote, but we have to exercise that right.
Sure.
And we have to push on the importance of exercising that right for every election.
Yes,
it's so important.
It's so important. And of course, that's one of my questions that's coming, but I didn't realize that 12%. I mean, I have been managing all I have to manage, as all of us, this pandemic, and I'm looking at national news. Sometimes I forget to look at local news that day, and then I miss something. I got to catch up because I'm trying to keep up with it all because I'm ready to fight. So I'm looking for my enemy. I'm just ready because I think, it's worth fighting for. So Helena, so the first question was, how do you feel about this 100 year, and of course the 55th, or how does all it make you feel? And of course you've expressed that. And I want to say, would you please tell them, because I know Rachel knows your nationality, and because a little bit we want to talk about that.
I am Hispanic, I'm Latinx. I was born in Mexico, in Jalapa, Veracruz, Mexico. My first language is actually Spanish. So,
wow.
I guess if you want to call it the American dream, that's what we are, my family at least. My father brought us to the United States because he really felt that he could, have a better life for his family coming to this country. So even though I was born in Mexico, my mother is an American citizen. So by right, I'm an American citizen, even though I was born in Mexico. So that's a little bit of my history. And, people always ask that because of my last name, Moreno, and they've heard me speak in Spanish now in various news conferences.
Right.
But yes, actually, first language is Spanish.
Wow. Wow. And how old were you when you came over?
I was 8 years old.
8.
And so,
Wow.
Being a little girl whose first language is Spanish, then going into public school, it was really hard for me reading and writing for a while because I had to transition into English. And, back in those days, there wasn't the amount of support, and we're still lacking in that on the, foreign language being a first language for kids in public school, there wasn't as much as support then as there is now. So it was tough, but you know, I had a great mother who always pushed me through and made me work hard and made me achieve. And probably because of her, I'm here where I am today.
Absolutely. And you're a smart cookie, so you can handle it. So we appreciate you sharing that with us, because, you know, it's so important, because many of us, even if we were all Black, we still have our own stories.
Right.
And so where you are today, and that's why I wanted you here, because perhaps we can speak to women who feel that there is no journey for them, or there's nowhere to go. And I want to show all ages. I want to show all colors. I was trying to get me a pure white girl, but I couldn't do it in time, because I wanted them all here. I want Italian, whatever. But I knew that your leadership would stand out. And when I do something, I want to make an impact. So I knew I had the right women. I don't know, has Tiffany joined us? There she is. Tiffany, Dr. Tiffany Stubbs, who is a pharmacist, who is my assistant. And she keeps getting more and more degrees. I don't know what she is, but I just love her so much. She just got out of class. Tiffany, welcome today. And Tiffany, I kind of brainstorm with Tiffany and throw things at her, and she's a younger mind. She helps me figure out things. So Tiffany today is here with us. And Tiffany, I'm just gonna ask you briefly to say, because we're gonna move to the second question. And I only have 3 questions today. But the question is, how does this day, this 100th anniversary celebrating the 19th Amendment, and then 55 years ago when Blacks got the right, how does this make you feel today? What are your thoughts about that as a young 30-something?
Well, thank you for that. I personally feel just very empowered in this moment, and I'm just amazed at how God works. Being under your tutelage and understanding the prophetic, just yet again, God showing us with numbers and the significance of the numbers and the meanings, and so for it to be 55 years anniversary and then the mark of the 100th anniversary of the women's suffrage movement. I'm personally empowered, and I feel a sense of deep gratitude.
You're going out
to of those who were before me, who, in a sense, sacrificed everything. So I am definitely empowered by this.
Empowered, which is great, and that's what we want to do. Back to Dr. Harrison. I'm going to keep that flow, and then Judge Johnson and Councilwoman at Large, and then Tiffany. My second question is, in light of Kamala Harris becoming the first female and then first female and African-American VP on a ticket, on the national ticket, tell me how that has affected you, and what does that really mean, other than she'll be the VP, whatever. Just share your thoughts about it.
To be honest with you, it's very emotional for me. I think one of the things that, you know, coming through all that, you know, and you and I are not that far apart in age, but coming through all that we've been through, being, you know, pushed back, knocked down, taken for granted, you know, all those things that we can talk about for, you know, hours and hours.
Yes.
As well as, you know, when you get back up from being knocked down, still nurturing, still raising kids, still loving men, still serving the church, serving God. It seems as though you get to a point where you wonder if tomorrow, if there is going to be a tomorrow where we win and where we feel like we can, you know, wave our fist in the air and declare victory. And I think that was the fist wave the other day when Kamala was announced. And we knew it was going to be, you know, a woman of color, but she's beautiful, she's smart, she's experienced. She does, you know, she has challenges in her background, like all of us do. She has skeletons in the closet, all that. And I knew they were going to come for her, but it made me feel like, you know what, this is a, you know, one step, small step for woman, but one great step for humankind, because now the world sees a Black woman in a place of power. And I think that there's enough women, Black, white, Hispanic, any, you know, whatever, that need and really needed the boost that her announcement gave us.
Yes.
So it felt like a boost. It felt like
Okay.
that fist wave.
Yeah, I agree. You know, that God is always on time, the one I serve. And
Yeah.
you know, when it's another Obama moment for me, because Obama moment was the big payback.
Yeah.
It's like to put a Black man at the ultimate top
Yes.
of the same government that pushed us in the background forever. It's like only God could do it. And not just God, but people whose eyes were open. Every now and then righteousness shows up.
Yeah.
And it has no color. And that was, so I thank for that. Judge Johnson?
On those same lines, I think, you know, I'm a person of faith, as you all know, and I always, I'm a half full kind of girl, glass half full, and I'm always, God always has me hoping for good, hoping for the right things to happen. And so what it did was it confirmed the hope he's always placed in me. I felt like this was a confirmation that we've been living in some tough times, and I think people have been discouraged and felt hopeless. And it confirmed for me that we still gotta be hopeful. And the hope for me is more that there can be representation. There's a woman of color on a ticket to become Vice President of the United States. And I was sharing with Pastor D earlier, my 10-year-old stepdaughter was with Kamala from the beginning. She couldn't understand why anybody wouldn't be with Kamala, because she could be the first Black woman president. And so she lit up when she heard, and that's where the hope is. She's 10, she's coming up next, and it confirms for her things are going to be okay. It may be rough, but things are going to be okay. So that's how it felt for me. I was hopeful. It confirmed the hope that I already had.
Wow. And that hope, you know, Jesse says, keep hope alive. But it's real. It's real. For the Bible says, our hope, our faith is made of hope. It's the substance of things hoped for. And I always say, when people lose their hope, that's the people you find under bridges. That's the people who you find have committed suicide, because they've lost. I tell people, don't ever lose your hope. I don't care how bad it is. Keep hoping. Councilwoman Moreno, I know I saw you on Twitter, but I know you were ecstatic because she stood with her, like your little niece. I love this story of her 10-year-old little niece. She was very upset that her family was not with Kamala at that time, some of her family members, and so young. So we see how we can impact kids. They can receive. You just never know where the next leader is. But this woman of God who loves God, she says, I want you to meet Kamala. And she had an event for her. I was at the AKA conference in New Orleans doing the invocation. And they swept me to the back to meet. And I thought she was tall and she's a little bitty like me. And except for my stomach, I had just had shortcake, and so strawberry shortcake. But she was so kind. But this is it. We had the same suit on. Y'all think I'm gonna be the next VP? We had.
You already the PP.
That's
President. Other stuff to do.
Exactly.
Look, Helena's a sharp dresser, but Helena, we had the same suit on. I had the 3-piece, she had the 2-piece, and but my hair looked a mess. I just couldn't even believe. But anyway, I found my picture today. It was on my computer. I had downloaded my pictures and I couldn't find it to post it the other day. But I already know you're thrilled, but tell me why Kamala? And tell me, I know how you felt, but you can share it.
So, I'm like the 10-year-old little girl. I mean, we go back, let's say 2 years or so. And when all these candidates were starting to run for office, and, I started to really take a look at all of them. And Kamala was just the one who I felt I could relate with the most. And I remember Mitch Landrieu called me and he was like, I hear you're really talking up Kamala. He's like, why? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, the woman just, when I hear her speak, it's, I relate to her. And, Dr. Harrison, you talked about, just kind of being knocked down and getting right back up and moving forward. And I certainly relate to that. And Kamala's been through a lot, but she always just gets back up and she just keeps going. And she became DA and she became a US Senator and she was AG for the state of California. I mean, just the way that she spoke, she understood what everyday people were going through. So then, fast forward, we had some mutual connections and had an opportunity to meet her and we just hit it off. I mean, Kamala she could be with us right here and just having the conversation with us. She is, what you see on TV is what she is in person. Yes. And then she and I just became friends. So then she called me and she's like, look, I really want you to be part of my team. And I want you to be part of kind of this young group of individuals who I have around the country and, kind of a small coalition of y'all to help with my campaign. And so I said, absolutely. And we had some events for her here in New Orleans, myself and Representative Ted James out of Baton Rouge. We co-chaired her campaign in Louisiana. We traveled with her to the debate in Detroit. And she's just so amazing because I can tell you that going back and looking back on the night in Detroit where it was not a good debate night for her, that the Tulsi Gabbard went after her and all this stuff, but whatever. Mm-hmm. And afterwards, she came and we thought we wouldn't see her. She'd go to bed and, it was a bad night. But instead she's like, I want to see where, my people are. And she had a small little reception for us in one of the hotel suites and ordered some pizza and stuff. And she came by and talked to all of us and was like, Helena, I hope that you're meeting all these people. These are great connections for you to have. I want you to make these connections. I want to help elevate you. But that is the type of person who she is. Wow. As she gets bigger and bigger and bigger and more important, she brings people with her. She brings women with her. Yes. She brings minorities with her. And I just think that says a lot about the type of leader who she is. So then, obviously that campaign for her becoming president didn't work out. So it's all about her becoming VP. And I have to tell you, I am so glad that they announced it on Tuesday of last week because I couldn't wait any longer to learn who the VP was going to be. I was like about that, like just stress out, have a heart attack, all those different things.
Yes.
Yeah. And I was worried that it was going to be, someone else. And obviously I would have supported them. But when they said Kamala on Tuesday, I mean, I just, tears in my eyes, thanking God. And, all the TV media folks called me for interviews. I could barely do the interviews. I was so excited. And this is a historic moment. This is such a historic moment for women, for African-American women. I mean, for our country. And I'm telling you, she is going to be the next vice president. And eventually she will be the next president of the United States after Biden is done.
I agree.
However many terms. But I'm telling you, this is an amazing woman, and I'm so proud. And Pastor D, as you just said, there's been a lot that we've dealt with over the past several years with this particular administration, and I think a lot of us have felt, that hope is, difficult to come by, and God shows us different signs that things are going to be okay. And her being chosen as VP is definitely one of those signs.
Wow, well said. I tell you, I was a nervous wreck as well. I'm like, first of all, I was upset with him for making that statement so early. I'm like, Joe, you're gonna kill yourself. Who is it gonna be? They're gonna kill you if you don't pick who they want you to pick. And I'm like, Lord have mercy. Why? I was screaming. My husband was laughing. I was screaming at the TV every time they said, and he said this week, I'm like, leave him alone. He shouldn't have said it. But when he did select her, I think most of us, Nancy Pelosi the Belowski is my other girl. I mean, I'm gonna be Nancy. That Nancy to me, for her age, is a sharp, older lady.
Yeah.
And I just love it. And they were interviewing here. Y'all see, I keep moving this light, this glare, it's just driving. So Nancy said this. They said, we want to ask you about the stimulus and da-da-da-da-da. And we want to ask you, she was like, well, wait 1 second. I love the way she calms everybody. 1 minute. Let's talk about Kamala Harris. She says, let's do that first and let's celebrate. I'm like, they all talking about the checks and she was like, and let's not keep saying that she's the first African-American woman. That's good. But let's just say she was the most qualified. I'm like, you better speak. Let's just say she is the absolute right pick. Let's just say that she is so smart. And I say that Nancy with that scarf around her neck, I'm gonna wring your neck with it because I love you. I love you. I mean, because that was it for me. It's not just about an effort. And I was really saying, listen, y'all are not gonna back poor Joe up against the wall. Joe, you better think and pray. And I kept praying and fasting all last week because not just Black, not just brown, not just white, not just a woman, qualified. I always did say she had the most experience and the right experience to handle what we're coming up against. I always said that even when she was running. Now, when she was running, I wasn't as much behind her because I kept looking at Stacey. I think it was Stacey. But after, whatever, you know, how things fell and whatever, Kamala, as Nancy says in Nancy's voice, let's just say she's the most qualified. I mean.
Say something about that, Pastor D?
Yes.
I think what you said is really, really important. There are a lot of people, and it goes back to my stepdaughter, who weren't necessarily with Kamala when she was running for president, but there is something about her that it doesn't matter. At this moment, she is bringing people together. It doesn't matter who we are with. That's gone. We're past that.
That's gone.
There are people who are being mobilized and who are getting ignited in this process that it doesn't matter who they were with. She is making them have that hope. So
yes,
that what you said is right on. It doesn't even matter if you were with her or not. Her story and what she's presented and who she is has made people say, I'm with her. I want to be with this person.
So, and Tiffany is coming. So the thing is with me, a woman, yay. A brown woman, yay. A qualified woman, that what I love that kept being said, that connects with Biden like he connected with Obama, a team. And you know, you always, to me, hire your weakness. If I'm weak in an area, I should say hire in that area. I'm gonna bring someone to the table who has what I may not have. To me, that is exactly what he did, and the pair. And she said this to me, now that she's VP, it's important. She was like, I want to talk to you. I need to get with you. I need to call her, Moreno, and say, hey, I'm still here. I'm just teasing. But she has such a compelling personality. And, you know, everybody said, you know, one thing about Pastor D, if you don't know anything else, she's real. That's what I get from her. She's just like a sister girl. It's like, I know what I know, I do what I do. But like she said, after it's all said and done, I think she says, I'm mommy, something like, I'm a mommy. She's what, Mamala. I love that. That's
Mamala.
Yes, so cute, but so good. And tough, that little bitty body, tough. So, and you said a lot, Rachel, that was awesome. Tiffany, how did that make you feel, Kamala?
I personally feel excited. Matter of fact, one of my principals texted me because she's a soror as well, and she was like, "We got a soror going to the White House," and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" But on a even more deeper level, I love that Kamala has this unique ability to hold the tension of the personal and the political, and bring accountability to everybody around her. And so for me, that was just so inspirational. And when you were talking about her being Mama Love, I remember her saying that she instills the principle that if you have opportunity, it's up to you to go back and get others so they can have those opportunities.
Yes.
So I'm just excited. I think it helps us all have a new vision, because sometimes we keep seeing the constant impact of just one thing,
Right.
and we all know about that. It's really refreshing to see just someone that's in my skin tone and that is qualified and is a great person to me. So I was
Yes.
definitely excited.
Yes, so I think we all feel the same way, and to hear you speak is great. There's so much I want to say, but I mean, this is just exciting. It was like a shot in the arm that we need, the distraction, a good distraction, because we have so many bad distractions. This was a great distraction. Finally, so ladies, I've been asking God, because we are in Louisiana. I know you're in Georgia, but in Louisiana, we're a red state. Georgia, you're a swing. But I went crazy to make sure we had a Democratic governor in a red state. And I did what I knew to do. God says to share this flyer, go vote or go back. And I shared it with the governor's office, and they were like, "Where'd you get that from?" God. They were like, "Okay, but we like it." And so I went with it, and I didn't wait on anybody to help me. And I just started saying, "This is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to give away cash. If you show me you voted, you're going to win a gift card. I mean, whatever it takes." And then everybody started to come to help me. And then I was able to give more and more to the people and bring more and more people to the polls. That was my contribution. In light of all we're going through, and the numbers are tightening, Biden was way ahead. Now it's getting real. And people are who they are. They did raise their fist. They did say Black Lives Matter, but we don't know if it'll matter in this election. I believe it will. I felt the heart of America change. And so I'm going in faith. So I came up, and I want to know what you're going to do, but I came up with this idea, and I shared it with Miranda, I shared it with Rachel, Tiffany. I ran her crazy last night. Dem girls vote.
Yes.
Dem girls vote. DEM,
Yeah.
girls vote. And I want to use that to do a campaign and a challenge for women to go get as many people registered and vote and to vote. And I will give gifts to. The one who gets the most, I'm going to give them $1,000 to have something for their girls, because it's all about the girls. To be honest, was going to do it, them Black girls vote, because I know sometimes our race is the hardest to get to the polls. Like Alina said, it's very frustrating. However, because of the divisiveness of our present administrator, I said, no, them girls vote. All Democratic girls. We're going after all colors. And I'm creating a logo with all these all color women. Them girls vote, them girls rock, them girls do everything. Because it was the girls that caused this 19th Amendment to come to pass. It was all about the girls, and will be about the girls. Yes, we want the brothers, but that's what I feel like it too. And I'll be sharing more of that with you. So this final question, and you don't have to take a long time, because I know I didn't want to keep you long, because I know we're all busy. Tell me now, since we're at this point, since we have the right to vote, what will you personally do to make sure that the Dems win?
Well, this is me.
Yes.
of course, I have influence in the media area, and even this week, I began to share on my television show guests who talk about voting, who talk about the issue of voting. I even had a pastor on that will be airing this weekend on my show, who is from California, a significant leader in the Los Angeles community, and he talked about the fact that Kamala has some negative imaging out there to overcome because of her, prosecutorial career. And I'm like, okay, yeah, we need to call it like it is, deal with it, but move past the challenges to the solutions. And that's where I think, my mindset has always been, we're not monolithic. We don't all think the same way, but when there's a cause that we can all get behind, unity is where the blessing is. And so I think that's my contribution, is the media platform that I have and the relationships that I have. So I'm going to be totally connecting with that area.
Okay. And yes, I have heard that, and I went and read all about that particular one, the guy that was supposedly misrepresented and was jailed and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And I've thought about it two ways. And somebody said to me on Twitter, Pastor Morton, I respect you and Bishop Morton very highly. But do you know, since you're excited about her, do you know her past? I said, I know some of it. Mm-hmm. I said, but I know this. I know two things. One, all of us have something in our past. The second thing I know about it is she may have done something that wasn't right, but she's done a lot of good. I know that as well. And so sometimes we can shoot ourselves in the foot when we start trying to critique when we could never do the job or come close to what that person could do. So yes, I know some of her past, but I know some of her good. And to me, her good outweigh her bad. Yes. And that's why I'm celebrating her, because it's more than about Kamala. It's about us and opportunity and advancement and unity. And so, and that's her record then, but she's done other things. To me, I'm not gonna say made up, because I don't really know, because that's one side of the story that I know. So I don't even know, and that's another thing. So we do, thank you, Teresa, Dr. Harrison, for helping to dispel some of that, because we do have to face it, and then we've got to fight it. Rachel Johnson, Judge.
So I am a proud Democrat, but although I'm a proud Democrat, I'm an elected judge, so I can't do anything to ensure that the Dems win. But my role as a judge and as a citizen, I was raised to always champion the importance of voting. And so I believe what my role is in this election, in every election, is to encourage folks to register and to encourage them to vote. And so I use my voice to do that, but I also lend myself, Martinette, which is the Black lawyers here in New Orleans, are always doing voter registration drives. I go and help register. We've done drives at Greater, where we go into Morton Hall, and we have people come after church and register. That is what I can do, and that's what I believe it's my responsibility to do. Whatever I can do, I will do it. And so people always say, well, you're prohibited, you can't do this and that. Okay, give me my prohibitions, and then let me figure out what I can do. So my role is to encourage registration, and then after you register, you have to vote, and you got to vote every time, chronically. I don't care if there's one race on the ballot, you got to go. And that's what I try to do, and that's what I'm gonna do this time.
And so I want to take you at your word, because I've already set up, we've already had some to vote. I've already set up voter registration at Greater. And so we started already. And I was wondering how I would do it with safety. So we figured it out. And I'm already on that part. But we're going to do more to make sure that we get the vote out. Councilwoman at large?
So I'm not a judge, so I can push on all levels. So and that's really what I'm doing. You know, from the fundraising piece, working really hard. Once again, raising money for the Biden-Harris ticket, pushing messaging, social media throughout, making sure that we are putting out there factual information. You know, we talked about Kamala's past, but remember, the other side is trying to make sure that the past is distorted, and they want that type of information disseminated and talked about and put out there to start casting doubt. That is their strategy against her. So, you know, we have to be very careful with that. And so, you know, I'm always about putting out there factual information. And I encourage everyone that, you know, when you see stuff shared on Facebook, and people are doing it all the time, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, and it's coming from some weird source, you know, like what, I don't even know. If it's not coming from a reputable news source and somebody is sharing it, it's likely not true, but people share it like it's like, you know, for sure a fact and whatever, and it distorts the whole message and people get confused. So whatever you can do to say, hey, did you fact check that? Actually, I did, and that's not accurate what you are sharing. You know, call those people out. I do all the time. I don't know, Pastor D, you wouldn't mind doing that either, or anyone on this panel. So obviously on voter registration, working with a couple of organizations on that. The Orleans Parish Democratic Executive Committee, I just got elected to that, and its members are always working on that piece in particular. IWO, Independent Women's Organization, also working on that piece. So really, I'm doing everything that I possibly can to get this ticket elected, because not only, and look, not only does our country depend on it, but I can tell you that on the local level, we got to have some changes. The lack of support, particularly during this pandemic, that we have received during this time, has just been so inadequate and so in many ways devastating to cities like New Orleans. You know, there's been, if you think about it, we still don't have any type of federal plan as to what's going to happen come this fall, when all the benefits start to run out, when now you've got the flu on top of COVID all coming together. We, the city of New Orleans, can provide little band-aids to things. Here's a little grant here, and here's a little bit of rental assistance. Here's a little bit of utility assistance. But we're not going to be able to take care of the whole problem unless the federal government has some type of plan and to help us. And they haven't come up with any types of plans. So we need a change, not only for this country, but, you know, for just the betterment of all communities.
Yes, absolutely. And as you were talking, I was just thinking about the changes, because a part of what I want to do with Dem Girls Vote is well, first of all, I would love all of you to become a part of it when I get it together, because as you said, from the local all the way up, or from the federal all the way down, we all benefit or suffer according to what they do. And we've got to begin, I know in my community, in our culture, we've got to educate more, and it's got to be in smaller groups. We've got to do the work to make sure, and that's what this Dem Girls Vote will be about when we're not voting. It'll be about educating. It'll be about perhaps grooming those who have possibly a political career. So these are the things that we want to do to help, and looking at getting masks that say that, and t-shirts. So I'll be letting you know how far, but I'm definitely going to work at as hard as I can. And Alina's gonna help me, and she's gonna look into some things, and Judge Johnson's gonna help me, and Tiffany's gonna help me, Dr. Tiffany, and I know even Dr. Harrison, even Atlanta, my connections there, because I think we're worth fighting for. Listen, ladies, it's been awesome. To get this together, but I'm so happy that when we all get together, what it used to be the song, the happier we'll be. So listen, not to take up more of your time, but congratulations on this day of celebration, because you to me are an extension of that. When I look at you and the work that you do, it pushes me to want to do more. Yes, I'm a preacher, but I'm also a fighter. I'm a prophet. And, you know, I do not, ask me a question in a social, organizing group that I'm in. And I went to a retreat, and I think this was sparked it all in me. It was already there. They said, are you a keeper of the status quo, or are you a prophet of change? And then sent me to my room with no TV and no radio, the cold, to make me think. And I came out of that room saying, I'm a prophet of change. So
Yes.
I pray that blesses you. I got something to do, and it's for God, in the name of God, but I will confront anything I need to, and I will fight hard to make sure that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will be our next leadership for this country. Thank you. I love you so much. I'm always here for you. Say goodbye
Thank
to
you
the
so
people.
much.
Bless you.
Bye. Thank
Have a
you.
great night.
Bye-bye.
You'll be in touch.
So wake up, my friend.
Wake up, my
Wake
friend.
up, my friend. Wake up, my friend.